Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grandmasters final day of week 4, where we're starting off our round robin stages. We're still waiting to see some first appearances from players. We'll see another appearance from a familiar face in Firebat coming up against Briarthorn. So both these players looking to get their first games of the week finished, and Briarthorn, who was able to started off on the right foot last time we saw him on broadcast, but Firebat, he took a pretty nasty L. Looked like he just got really unfortunate in a couple of really tight spots. One noticeably through a Conjurer's Calling yesterday in his Mage deck that ended up summoning an Octosari in a really inopportune moment. So Firebat ended up getting swept by Empanizado. Briarthorn got that 3-2 win over Zalay, and probably feeling pretty good, and overall, if you're able to still go like 1-1 every week, you're still in a pretty good spot to avoid relegation. So Briarthorn really wants to get that win and secure it. Firebat really wants his win to put himself in a reasonable spot after 1 week.
Yeah, and lineups on both sides quite a bit different. Firebat bringing Rogue to the this week of Grandmasters, which wasn't a super popular choice. Didn't even show up on our metagame graphic. Also, Firebat and his kind of minion priest, which pretty interesting. Priest been drawing bans left and right. A lot of players respecting it, and Briarthorn running no rogue, no priest at all. Instead, has the Zoo Warlock and the Briarthorn Warrior. It ain't video game warrior, but it's a warrior deck. That's for sure.
I mean, it's close to Video Game Warrior, but not really quite there yet, as it just seems like it lacks a little bit of the things that make Warriors really powerful, but still keep some of the good things like the bomb package, of course. We'll talk about it more in a little bit. For now, we're going to start things off with Druid, who nature studies into, well, some pretty good stuff from Malagos Druid. This is actually a really good nature studies if he was capitalizing on that, but instead he's playing the exotic mount seller spell druid lists. What? Oh, this is so unusual. The idea that he he had an opportunity to actually get all the components from Malagos Druid, which is really funny, combined with Firebat Draconic Studies and the Nature Studies.
Yeah.
Ends up going for the Malagos. Okay.
All right. Gotta respect the goose.
I was sort of anticipating the Evasive Draconid, considering that's a difficult card for Druid to deal with. Why Malagos?
I mean, he does run Holy Smites naturally in the deck. He runs Wand Makers, which can pick up Holy Smites. Cobalt Spellkins, which can pick up Holy Smites. So he's got the potential for a lot of Holy Smites. And Malagos synergizes pretty well with Holy Smite. That's for sure.
Yeah, I guess so. It can take down a mount seller.
Yeah. So, you can take out an 8/8 from Ysera Unleashed. Malagos is also combined health and attack equals 16, whereas the combined health and attack for the Evasive Draconid only equals 12 or 14. 12. Yeah, it's a 6/6 now. 14. So overall, just higher stats for Malagos. All right, that's an overgrowth. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is an overgrowth.
How
I don't
curious.
think using the Lightning Bloom here is necessary, nor do I think that playing Thresher here is particularly important. Although you did see your opponent use Coin, which means that Firebat's ability to do shenanigans like the Cabal Acolyte and Wave of Apathy is reduced. Do like the overgrowth opportunity here, just to ramp up into really powerful stuff later. Okay. So tell me more about this 12 stats versus 16 stats stuff, TJ.
No, 14 stats for a 16.
Oh, okay. Lightning Bloom into Wild Growth.
Wow.
Really dumping his hand so that way he can overflow next turn, I suppose?
Oh, actually, that's smart. No, this is really smart. Because now he's overflow, and then he's on 10 mana the turn after he overflows. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that. That's pretty good. Pretty cool. Good and cool.
I mean, is there anything more important in life than being good and cool?
No.
Well, having 2 Holy Ripples doesn't really help too much here for Firebat, except
I don't know,
it's good
Dan.
with Malygos.
Malygos. That's AoE.
Yeah, but Malygos is expensive. All right, Wand Maker. Make me a wand. Do we want to start off with Renew instead, though? Like, maybe the Veil Weaver gives you a better card, and Renew helps you discover a better card? Okay, how many Renews do you think Firebat will have at the end of this turn?
They aren't Holy
Ritual.
Smites, though, Dan. So they have no synergy with Malygos.
It's just playing Reborn Priest. Reborn Minion Card Priest.
This is a lot of tempo, though. Like, Briarthorn's got to respect this, and
He's got look at his hand. It's so weird. He's got 3 Renews, a Radiance, 2 Holy Ripples.
and a Holy Smite, and a Malygos.
Wait. He also has a Draconic Studies now to make Malygos even cheaper. So he can just pick whatever generic dragon he doesn't want. Play Malygos and Holy Ripple. Oh wow, King Mukla. And the Savage Roar.
Just cashing it in for
Right.
another minion to be able to play with the broomstick.
What? 2 Muklas?
Nice.
Double
That's what I'm talking about.
Double the gorilla. That's pretty good.
Full clear, plus gets to stick some minions. Good thing Firebat with the 3 renews can pretty much craft a game plan to beat just about anything.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's not super unbeatable, but it does look pretty hard right now. Shadowward Ruin would be really sick if he's able to find that off of Renew. Shadow Madness.
Okay.
And then he can Holy Smite the exotic Mount Seller. I guess he could squeeze in things like Draconic Studies as well.
Yep, so might as well do that first. There's an evasive Draconid. Crimson Hothead just feels like it's playing more into this game plan here because he's already got an expensive dragon in hand. He wants to be able to play Crimson Hothead and support it with some spells.
Right.
Ah, yes, Raise Dead sequencing first. I don't really want to Iron for a Grizzly back. So, intelligent. Now, Briarthorn just got like all of his beasts. Playing Beast Druid.
Beast Druid is pretty strong. You're getting
Yeah.
King Mukas all the time.
Yeah. So we're going into the 7-mana turn. Soulmare's a possibility. If he really wants to respect Soulmare, he'd just play Teacher's Pet and Lake Thresher. Actually, no, Lake Thresher also kind of makes it awkward. Maybe you just say,
Right.
all right, he doesn't have Soulmare and just play the Twilight Runner because right now he kind of desperately needs card draw.
Wow. Good call.
The hold.
And he's still The only thing that I don't like is that he's not threatening lethal, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Wave of Apathy.
Mind Games is also
Penance.
interesting.
It's interesting, but there's just a lot of stuff that doesn't do enough, I think.
Yeah, there's like Broomstick. From his perspective, Speaker Gidra.
Ooh, a Wave of Apathy. And Plague of Death. He's just making this up as he goes.
Oh.
Wasn't he at like 15 health, 17 health, something like that? He just gained it all back.
Yeah, this is like a
Wait,
choose your own adventure book, but in the form of a Hearthstone deck.
Briarthorn just drew his Leg Thresher and then his Guardian Animals.
Nature speaks through us.
There might be one teacher spell left.
Yeah. There's
Oh, no,
Twilight
Runner.
Runner.
The Twilight Runner,
Yeah.
right. But like, geez, just kept drawing all his beast.
Still very powerful though. Firebat's a turn away from Plague of Death as well.
That's okay.
Actually, this is.
Is it a good Soul Mirror?
Do you Soul Mirror and then Wave of Apathy, or do you Wave of Apathy and then Soul Mirror?
I wonder.
You don't pick the ones.
Or you do none of those, you just Wave of Apathy, and then just save for Plague of Death. You don't need a Soul Mirror actually, because if you're almost 100% going to Plague of Death next turn, then you just want to block as much damage as you possibly can right now.
Right. The only thing is that Twilight Runner living is kind of annoying for Briarthorn because
Yeah.
he just draws 2 more cards, and that was the one thing he was really lacking.
Yeah.
Shadow Madness. What?
Oh.
Wait. He doesn't want to kill the Twilight Runner. Oh, he doesn't have mana because he's had 2 mana. Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he had 4 mana left, but you gotta make do sometimes.
Okay. There's Ysera Unleashed. And the second Guardian Animals. Right on time.
He's down to 6 cards left in his deck, though. So Briarthorn has a very good chance of drawing a Dragon Portal next turn.
Yeah, which kind of is awkward for Firebat if he wants to pull the trigger on Plague of Death. It's like, okay, well, you Plague of Death this board, but then it's likely to have a full board back. Soul Mirror, though, could likely answer unless there's a lot of 4/12s. Soul Mirror, and then the follow-up of Malygos Holy Ripple, perhaps? Ooh, now we're,
I think
now
so.
we're talking.
I think that makes sense, especially given the fact that he has Malygos ready to go. But looks like he's just going to pull the trigger on the Plague of Death. Don't blame him. There's no guarantee that the Dragon Portal is going to be really powerful versus this is very much guaranteed to be powerful with what his opponent's board is. Yeah, and I mean, these dragons aren't super impressive thus far. Still not impressive enough. Malygos will sweep it up with the Holy Ripple. Wow, is Firebat's first Draconic Studies on turn 1 with the Malygos pick going to end up just being the most godlike pick? Wow!
Wow. Wow, indeed. That's so sick. Oh.
This was planned from turn 1. And he found a giant AoE to shut down the Dream Portals. And unless Briarthorn had picked up bigger dragons off the portals, he doesn't really have anything going for him right now.
Firebat can just Holy Ripple again. You can actually Crimson Hothead Holy Ripple. That sets up lethal.
Does he want a Holy Ripple though? Like, what if he just
He has
uses
Soul Mirror.
Forbidden
I mean, he's
Words?
setting up lethal, so even if dragons come out, he's got Soul Mirror to push through if it's a taunt.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
There is a Broomstick left, though, in the deck for Briarthorn, right? Actually, yeah, there is. So if he gets Portals, then Broomstick, then he's hoping he has a Shadow Madness target for
Yikes.
lethal.
Oof. He has
so-
to rip the overflow, right?
Does he die?
He doesn't die, but he's pretty close to death. He needs to play this, though, right?
3 portals, so he'll take 1 then 2 damage.
Oh my
Ugh.
gosh. None of his portals here have been high impact.
Oh no. My
Yeah, that
trove
one's
of
like
cards is
moderate
gone.
impact.
Yep, he's dead.
Jeez. If he rushes
well-
all of them in with the stick,
How curious.
And then heals
then-
himself?
Sands of time run low.
I think he can't. Oh, he's just gonna leave up the Malagos then? Okay, yeah. If his opponent has 1 form of damage, he's done. Why trade that? I guess I'll make him board space for Mount Seller.
Yeah. Yep, Shadow
Oh
Madness is
boy, well
enough.
he's got a damage.
Yeah.
That's
It's
gonna
a
do
weird
it.
game, though. Oh my goodness. Firebat with the Malagos pick, you know, not a very common pick, especially in Priest, from like this type of Priest. But he just was like, yeah, I might need this. I kind of joked that it was, oh, it's all for Holy Smites. But honestly, ended up working out with just AoE. He gave him the clear and allowed him to just push kind of nicely for a victory. So very well done by Firebat there. Just kind of making sure that he had every box checked, making sure that he was picking, you know, hard removal whenever he could. Nicely done.
All right, well, Priest is off the table now, and Briarthorn's Druid is still left. But you know, the thing that we were looking at was whether or not Druid would be targeted from Firebat, because Briarthorn has things like Zoo Warlock. So, you know, the hardest part for Firebat's series is still yet to come, and Briarthorn still has room to make up. That opening draw from Briarthorn looked pretty promising. I'm kind of surprised how hard it's fizzled, and it's making me really question like Druid's consistency, right? Because that's happened multiple times now. Even today, where like Druid
just
had
today.
a really good hand and then nothing.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's not been impressing over the last, I would say, the entire weekend across all the regions. Druid just seems like it does fizzle out sometimes. Malagos Druid, though, has been finding wins. Maybe that's the Druid that players should be bringing. But Firebat is going to turn to Spell Druid and going up against a rough matchup in Briarthorn's Pain Zoo Warlock. Surprisingly enough, because of Briarthorn's some of Briarthorn's other decks, it is pretty standard. 1 Soul Shear, the 1 Penflinger,
The wild.
1 Disease Vulture, double Shadowlight Scholar, which sometimes standard, sometimes not. Sometimes people opt to include like a Brittle Bone Destroyer in the 4 slot. But a nice deck nonetheless. I like this version of it. Briarthorn has decided to bring. That's a full toss from Firebat, and Briarthorn, Flame Imp good.
Raised dead.
Disease Vulture can sometimes be good if it has the support, but I think I want to look for Dark Glare here. Expired Merchant, Hand of Gul'dan.
Yeah, I think I would keep Flame Imp and toss everything else. I'm somewhat
Yeah.
intrigued by Raised Dead, because it's like your opponent's going to most likely try to remove it, and
Yeah.
you can keep the pressure going. But I think I'd only want to hold Raised Dead if I know that I have 2 cards that I'm going to be bringing back with it that are good. Did he full keep? He full kept! 4 keep!
What a mad lad! And draws Dark Glare off the top.
What? God Gamer. He's a 4 keep Freddy, and he still got it.
So many possibilities.
Wow.
Man, that's really good. So Dark Lair, which refreshes 2 mana crystals, if your hero takes damage, he can utilize that, plus in combination with Disease Vulture, to do some really powerful combos. Now that being said, Firebat's hand's also nothing to scoff at. The question is there enough time for Firebat before the Dark Glare becomes too overwhelming with all the free mana that Warlock gets?
A little agony goes a long way.
Whoa. Okay, if Firebat picks up any more front load ramp, he is going to be good.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he doesn't necessarily need Lightning Bloom, because then he's still okay at Lightning Bloom. Yeah, any kind of front loaded ramp, and he'll be big chillin'.
Like,
Oh, that's not that good of a draw here for Briarthorn.
yeah. Well, this is the Expired Merchant's decent because he gets Flesh Giant, but this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like Penflinger, Raised and Disease Vulture are yes, they're fantastic to have like turn 4, turn 5 onward. But in the mulligan, no, he got the Dark Glare, but you'd much rather like mulligan for the Dark Glare and have other threats to follow up alongside Flamin' to pressure and then follow that up with Disease Vulture. Because Druid's not really killing your minions early on, so Raise Dead, like, if Druid is killing your minions, it usually means they got a really early Guardian Animals, in which case you would rather just have had more pressure in the early game. I don't know. I don't like the mulligan, but I'm willing to be convinced otherwise. It worked out. It obviously is working out for him because, he hit the Dark Glare off the top, but...
Yeah, and I think for Firebat, this is the time to wonder if you should just develop a 5-drop versus play your second Overgrowth here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to actually pop this Expired Merchant. It's hard to say, right? You're giving your opponent Flesh Giants.
Job's done.
So Firebat's thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, we can see that if you don't hit that Expired Merchant, Briarthorn's turn is terrible. Now Briarthorn can actually use Raise Dead.
Right.
Which, if Firebat had just not killed the Expired Merchant, Briarthorn doesn't use Raise Dead. He can't play Disease Vulture because he doesn't have the mana to damage himself. He's going to go Spirit Jailer, Spell...
Briarthorn's...
Wait, what?
I thought it was Disease Vulture turn here.
Yeah, he can still do it. He can Penflinger's Face, then Disease Vulture, then Raise Dead.
Okay. And he... Oh, because he just wants the Penflinger back? Or does he want a Flesh Giant this turn?
Oh, he wants a Flesh Giant. Okay.
Either way, this is another potential argument against killing the Expired Merchant, since now he's established that Flesh Giant.
Okay, now you damage yourself again, play another Flesh Giant. Alright, no, this worked out.
It worked out really well, and I like this play a lot from Briarthorn. And alternatively, I'm not sure if the kill on the Expired Merchant was what Firebat was looking for. He hits the Twilight Runner, and
he's dead.
Dead?
Yeah.
Potentially dead. No, even if the Silverback feature comes out.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, well, that was a turn 5 kill from the Warlock, and a really subtle thing, but a really important thing. Be careful of what you trade into with the Zoo Warlock early game. That was a game 2 in the books. Briarthorn's Warlock, which is aimed at beating things like Druid, ended up paying off.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell it's just super hard for Druid to deal with that kind of opening.
Right.
They just ramp up too much. Warlock can do whatever they want, and you're gonna die. And nice little spot there by Briarthorn at the end to make sure you got both Flesh Giants down, instead of kind of being baited into a Disease Vulture turn. But yeah, Imagine how different that game looks if Firebat doesn't kill the Expired Merchant. It's really hard for you to see that because the Expired Merchant's like recurring 2 damage, but Briarthorn kept 2 cards that were in the far left of his hand. What would those be in combination with Flame Imp and well, I guess he didn't keep Dark Glare, but in combination with Flame Imp and Flame. Hard to say. Maybe Hand of Gul'dan. But it's tough to make that read. It could have been a much different series, much different game, much different series if he just Hero Powers Face instead.
All right, well, that's a different game, different timeline. Going to game number 3. Tie 1 game apiece. Briarthorn's mulligan last time ended up paying off handsomely. This time, I'm not so sure if you want to keep any of them. Wrench Caliber is interesting, though, because he has a bunch of upgrade synergy. Did he full keep again? He did. What is even mulliganing? It's not even an option for Briarthorn.
What is happening? I need confirmation that he 4-kept. I need to go back and look.
He kept. I guess I'm just sort of taking it back.
He 3-kept.
Yeah, he full kept. I'm interested because this is such a pessimistic point of view. This is like, I'm gonna need Bladestorm to kill like a Twilight Runner, or maybe 2 if he has Guardian Animals. And I also definitely need Wrench Caliber. The Wrench Caliber, I think, was something that you could argue, right? Because there's a lot of synergy around that weapon. But the Brawl is particularly intriguing to me. Because a lot of things will happen before we go to it.
He only runs a single Brawl, Dan. It all makes sense now. Brawl is necessary for this matchup, and you can't not draw the Brawl.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Bladestorm I understand, okay?
Right.
Because Bladestorm is fantastic against just them playing a Twilight Runner on 5, which can run away with the game, or even just Guardian Animal in general against Druid. Bladestorm, you can keep Bladestorm. I don't even know about the Wrench Caliber keep. Like, Wrench Caliber is not something that's super crucial to have on 4. Like, he's not keeping it with Cutting Class. He's not keeping it with Upgrade. He's not keeping it with any support for it. He's just keeping it with Bladestorm and Brawl. Like, the only times I consider keeping Wrench Caliber are if I already have the support for it. So, Bladestorm, right there, boom. Justified the keep. Brawl, I can justify the keep because he only plays 1 and he needs it. But Wrench Caliber...
Oh my goodness.
Is not super necessary to gameplay, and actually one of the lowest win rate cards against Druid.
Well, he drew Cutting Class.
He drew Dr. Krasnov and Cutting Class. Runner after he 3-kept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't draw Dr. Krasnov after you keep Wrench Caliber?
Oh, Solid's Pride gets the broomsticks. So what's funny is that oh no, he doesn't. Oh yeah, he does play broomsticks. I played against Firebat, a couple hours before we went on broadcast today, and
Weird flex, but okay.
yeah, I beat him. I completely nut drew him. It was disgusting. He had like a huge questing adventure, an 18-18 Edwin Van Cleef against Druid. I still beat him. And I said, like, one of the biggest reasons why I beat you was because I got Solid Pride from the side of console, which drew my broomsticks. And so it's fitting that now I'm casting his game where this Solid's Pride is drawing his broomsticks.
That's right. You gave him the idea, and then he willed it into existence.
Exactly.
Well done,
It's like,
TJ.
that would be cool. And then just said, yep, that's going to happen.
I'm going to do that. And then did it.
Yeah. That's the benefit you get of being a world champion.
All right, well, Briarthorn hacks away with his Wrench Caliber, immediately bomb being drawn. Whoa!
Oh, okay.
That ain't bad either. But with the survival of the fittest in hand, he can play Ysera and the animated broomstick. And also push for 8 this turn. Oh boy. Briarthorn looks slightly concerned.
I guess you could say that. All right. So nothing's touching this. Cutting class and try and dig for your second Blade Storm. That sounds like a good plan to me. Coerce. Oh. And he gets to shuffle another bomb with Clockwork Goblin. Nobody's gonna play. Actually, makes more sense because the lackey might allow you to react. That's what your opponent's gonna do.
Oh yeah, he finds the Ethereal Lackey, which helps.
Yep. Could be really good.
Wow, I mean, these are just such big stats coming out, though.
Job done.
Broomstick now is a 5/5, which is quite broken as a 1-mana card, but Briarthorn does have some plays here.
Oh man. That's a lot of bombs available. Is it time to start like going for a push or something? Like playing Galakron plus Shield Slam on the broom? And then just like race?
Could look for Ethereal Lackey opportunities, like execute would be really big, so then you can Shield Slam the broom and then execute.
Yeah.
I believe that might even leave him enough mana for the Clockwork Goblin.
Yeah, but you're not thinking Briarthorn enough here, Dan.
What does that mean?
You gotta think a little bit outside the box. You gotta race him. Briarthorn, in every Bomb Warrior game I've seen him play, all his bombs come out all at the same time. Whether it's slightly too early or slightly too late.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to shuffle the bombs to the top of their deck, TJ. That's not what you do?
Oh, wow, okay.
Information! Add 2 top minions to your hand. What? This is...
So I wonder why he didn't go for that first. If he was going to do it anyway. Maybe he finds something really good that's going to change his plan.
Right. Right.
Okay, bomb.
Another bomb being drawn.
Iron Bark.
Okay, that's big. Big damage. Briarthorn has no more armor. I think what he wanted to do was wait for Firebat to extend further to the board, then play his Brawl. Definitely on the struggle bus right now. Ramming speed helps.
Oh, man. Is this a 50-50 Brawl?
Well, I could go for a 1 and 3 Brawl with the Clockwork Goblin in it.
Could.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. The mulligan stage decision to keep the Brawl. The 50-50.
Nope.
Oh, jeez.
There goes his Brawl. It's the only one.
Ethereal Lackey can actually give him removal.
If he was going to play the Clockwork Goblin, why didn't he play it first?
Wants a 3/3 on the board. Nature Studies. Overflow! And then he can rush his minions at the very last. He knows that one Brawl. And so he's seen that Brawl. He can kind of proceed forward, finds Ysera. Somehow, Briarthorn keeps putting bombs within the top 3 cards of Firebat's deck. I don't even know if Firebat even has any more bombs in the deck.
I think there's one left.
And my brood wakes.
I mean, this looks good to me. I don't think you need to extend any further. Just push to 10.
Yeah.
Alright, Briarthorn needs this Ethereal Lackey to come up big.
Can ramming speed do anything here? No. Ramming speed plus Kronks? No.
Maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Mortal Strike is active.
That's right. And you said there's how many bombs in the deck? One?
I think there's only one.
Oh, because then you could put 2 bombs in the deck. Oh, wait. He could go for a triple run. He can Mortal Strike, then play Clockwork Goblin. Wait,
Can't
is
swing.
he even able to swing, though? He's
No,
at 9.
Can't swing. All right, so we can find Coerce off the slam here. Shield block. Shield block.
Shield block again? Shield slam?
Shield slam something.
Nope.
He's dead on board.
He is dead on board. And that's going to do it. Game number 3 over to Firebat. And Firebat gets closer to correcting his record and equalizing it as he is just down to his final deck here in the series. We're going to see whether or not his Rogue, his Rogue was banned, or whether or not his Mage can get over the hump here.
Yep. Mage. The Tempo Mage. Pretty standard list, as are most Tempo Mages. Curious how it's going to fare against the Warrior deck from Briarthorn. If he opts for that, could still go back to his Druid with that still available. But I imagine he's going to stick to Warrior just because it feels like a better matchup. But honestly, I don't know. It's hard for me to evaluate this Warrior deck. Clockwork Goblins don't feel like they do enough. Ramming speed, like 2 situational, 1 brawl. We'll see, but still have yet to be super impressed by the Warrior deck from Briarthorn. I understand what it's going for. It's just going for like a huge suite of removal, but if that's what you're going to go for, just put in all of it, right? Put in the second brawl. Take out the Clockwork Goblins. Put in more. Put in like Risky Skipper package, that kind of thing. If you're going to go for removal, just go for removal. But we'll see. Did win his first series with it, so we'll see how if he can do it again against Firebat. He's got to win 2 in a row though against the Mage.
Yeah, the Mage is going to be a deck that I think Briarthorn feels probably a little bit more comfortable with, but with like a lot of emphasis on the bombs and a little bit less on things like Brawl, it feels like it's going to be tricky for him to deal with large expanding boards that are generated off of Mage's ability to kind of add a bunch of resources from thin air. So Firebat's going to go into game number 4 with a 2-1 lead here. Briarthorn keeps 2 of his cards, holds on to Corsair Cash and Evil Quartermaster. No complaints there. Both players feeling pretty confident in their hand, only throwing away 1 single card. Which I think makes sense, given that Firebat really wants to emphasize his early game curve. It feels like with, a deck that emphasizes that tempo with, the Janus Barov and playing more things like Devolving Missiles and Mirror Image. They wanted to get ahead and stay ahead, which I think is entirely reasonable.
I will crush your delusions of grandeur.
Yeah. I like this curve for both players. This is quite good. Briarthorn got a turn 3 play, going to go for bombs first and foremost. Can't play Lacking. This isn't going to play Lacking next turn anyway. Might as well put more stats on board, I suppose. Get the bomb in while he can. This curve's going to be Wrench Caliber into Cutting Class into something. Polymorph has a couple good targets with Blastmaster Boom and Deathwing, but it seems a little bit more situational, whereas Rolling Fireball... Actually, Rolling Fireball is also situational. Yeah, Frost Nova is actually the only thing that really, counters the biggest minion in the deck, which is Blastmaster Boom. Briarthorn will invest a turn into Blastmaster Boom, and then you just Frost Nova it and force him to use, one of his own AoE spells. Doesn't play Risky Skipper, by the way, and you might be able to buy yourself a turn, so... I do like the choice of Firebat. Wow,
Oh,
he's going
interesting.
full on tempo.
Yeah, dumping the coin to extend a lab partner on the board. I mean, he's anticipating Wrench Caliber. That was a pretty aggressive use of the coin, which feels, you know, it's not really common in a lot of decks in Hearthstone, but in this specific archetype, it feels like coin is a premium card.
Yeah.
You want to make sure to time, because you don't even get it guaranteed every single game.
He just wants the pressure.
Push the one.
Okay. I wouldn't have minded Violet Ward in there as well. Push the 1, but that 1 quickly becomes 2. That 2 quickly becomes 3.
Okay, I mean, this is looking pretty solid for a curve here from Briarthorn. 3, 4, 5. More bombs in the deck. When the deck operates like this, Bomb Warrior is sick. It's just that it feels like it doesn't... Oh my god. Draws a bomb!
Alright, so 2 bombs left.
True mastery takes
Yep.
dedication.
Can kill this Dr. Krasnov. Heard he wasn't even really a doctor. Forged his degree.
Oh, Storm picked up. Start off with a cutting class. Oh my gosh, he's got
Jeez.
just bombs for days. He's running out of removal though.
Yeah, he has almost too many like weapon charges and not enough ways to deal with stuff. You could use the Blazestorm like you're talking about, but then how does he deal with the Jandis Barov?
Yeah, maybe just ignore the Raz for now and just go for like Evil Quartermaster and Armor Up. If you pick up Cobalt Lacking, just kill the Raz. Or just Shield Slam and take it out with the weapon. That works as well.
Yep, no, that is totally fine. Ooh.
Oh!
Interesting stuff. Onyx Mage Scribe sounds particularly interesting to me, but he doesn't have too many spells to combo with it right now. I guess it is for later in the game.
Yeah. I mean, he picks up a couple upgrades off Onyx Mage Scribe. He's cooking.
What? TJ, I don't understand.
Alright, 2 bombs left. It's like he shuffles the first 2 at the bottom of the deck, then every bomb after that is just right on the top.
What makes something real?
You bookend your deck
Yeah.
with bombs.
Oh,
Dr. Krasnov.
Is he even a real doctor?
No. Forged his degree, got caught, license revoked, and now he's back in community college. And the dean is really
just the plot
weird.
to Community.
Very, very good, DJ. I'm glad you got the reference.
Yeah, but he's not. Never mind. I don't know. My brain is melted at this point from a combination of many things,
That's true. I guess Jeff,
including but not limited to how hot it is.
Treasure? Loot? What more can I ask
I mean,
for?
Briarthorn, he's keeping up the heat. I was so ready for another bomb to be drawn. I don't understand. But Firebat finds the Solarian and the Lab Partner. These are really cheap options here. I like both because it has opportunity to combo really well with if he finds like an opportunity like with the Mana Cyclone.
Oh, Deep Freeze.
Yikes. Oh yeah, I did find Deep Freeze. I was just like looking at the mana cost of them, but Deep Freeze itself is pretty solid to stop any weapon
Aw.
swings.
Probably Caligos? Maybe you need to turn 9.
I don't know actually. I think Evasive Feywing actually has some merit here because he wants to keep his hand lower curve because of
Someone's
evocation.
out on me.
That's true. It's very true. Yeah, no, you're right. I was thinking Caligos to discover burn, like direct damage. Kind of similar like in a similar vein, but keeping your hand low curve makes sense also. I mean, I don't know if it matters too much because Deep Freeze is almost certainly his play next turn. He's gonna Onyx, Mage Scribe, and Corsair Cache.
He's really not afraid of dying.
Yeah.
And he's I mean, he's rightfully called it out. There's not enough damage in the hand.
There's a lot of really bad warrior spells. Like, I'm talking bad. Maybe not. Okay, that's not fair. Not bad, but
weak.
Situational. Let's use that.
Narrow.
Situational.
Narrow.
Yeah. Narrow. Like Boom Squad. I think I'd rather take like a card from my deck there, like go for Shield Block. Maybe like, you know, Corsair Cast and Shield Block Armor Up. Like try and dig deeper into my deck. Find my Brawl perhaps, Lord Barav. Sword and Boards even. Like at this point, you're just trying to, you know, buy time for your opponent to draw the bombs. You have the bombs in the deck. You got the recurring bomb damage and the weapon damage. So find your removal. But he did see Ray of Frost used from Firebat, so having the 4 damage on board actually also seems reasonable. Like having that board presence.
This is actually pretty close. More weapon synergy, but I mean, he's frozen and he has too many weapon charges anyways. This is a brawl opportunity for Briarthorn. The one of brawl.
Oh yeah. I keep saying it, but I also keep forgetting simultaneously.
The water elemental survives. That's pretty
still
bad.
Coerce.
I mean, yeah, but that's his last removal. That isn't his own face.
Heat of the Forge.
Upgrading just to be mana efficient. Now Firebat has an opportunity here to maybe even close up the game.
Yeah.
Wanty finds.
Learn Draconic.
Draconic. I am actually contemplating an evocation here.
Maybe a mana cycle on this turn. Okay, yeah.
I think it's because your opponent's going to be very clear on a game plan to try to kill you, and if you can have a way to stall that out, it'd be huge. So, like, finding an ice barrier, finding lethal, obviously, would be great, like arcane missiles and fireball. There are several reasons to maybe think about it. Looks like Firebat isn't really happy about it. He can cram session and draw 2 more cards. Which I think is also reasonable, because I don't know if a Font of Power is like particularly strong here.
I kind of wanted to just do this first.
Okay, well, he's got lethal next turn. But I mean, Briarthorn now has bomb potential. Also, it's not guaranteed lethal now. He picked up Deathwing.
Yeah, he would need a spell damage minion.
Okay.
That's a counter spell.
This forgoes the ability for him to armor up now. I mean, he didn't want to play into Mirror Entity, right? Because that is really scary.
That would kill him. Yep. I still Death one because it sets up lethal for yourself. There are 4 randomly generated spells. Fireball would have killed him last turn. Alright, looking for Frostbolt. Arcade Missiles is likely lethal.
Rocketeer off the Power of Creation.
Yeah.
Ooh, Brain Freeze. He already had ways to deal with it anyways. But Brain Freeze allows him to actually play Power of Creation.
Yep.
And there's taunts, there's chargers.
There's taunt and heals with Cartridge Defender.
Boulder Fist Ogre.
Yeah, probably. Not Catsan Auctioneer because Brain Freeze draw 2 cards, you're drawing closer to bombs. Oh yeah, you also get to 6 from Learn Draconic. Okay. So now, Firebat's on a one bomb outer.
TJ, it's time
For what?
to bomb.
For ramming speed?
Oh, actually, ramming speed's pretty clutch.
Not quite actually, because you can't Plague of Wrath with it.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have enough
And
mana
shield
anymore.
block. Oh, another bomb. We're doing that. If he armors up, he plays around lethal on board, but I think I want the bomb. Nah, he's gonna play around lethal on board.
Yeah, I appreciate that, even though we know he's got it anyways.
No, he didn't draw it. And that's
Oh
it.
no! Just when he needed the
18.
bomb draw the most. That's gonna do it, TJ. Briarthorn gets killed here, and Firebat's gonna win 3-1 and improve his record to a 1-1 score for the weekend. Not bad as a way to recover from what happened that previous series where he got 3-0'd pretty unceremoniously with some awkward moments earlier this weekend when he played against Empanizado. And just like that, the first couple matches for these players are done. Overall, still kind of, wondering about this Bomb Warrior from Briarthorn. I can totally understand how it might feel like when you're targeting specific decks, it might be better in a tournament environment. But, we mentioned it a couple times. We struggle with this deck in practice. It didn't even win a single game, and we gave it a lot of tries.
Yeah.
And eventually we're like, okay, we have to play other matches because there's more than just Bomb Warrior versus, a couple of these decks. But looks like Briarthorn continue to struggle as well. So we'll see what he comes up with for the next week. But I don't think that Bomb Warrior was it if I were to be, making a decision right here, right now.
Just a couple of oddities, like no Risky Skipper, which means no Ankar, but still runs double Corsair Cache with the only weapons being the Wrench Calibers, which is a little bit like Overkill. You're just as likely to draw either one, not accounting for mulligans. Sometimes that's standard, but no second brawl. There's just small things that add up to it being in awkward situations like that where it's one removal short of potentially winning a game, like one bomb draw short of potentially winning a game, that type of thing. So I do like that Briarthorn's trying to put his own flair on decks. His Highlander Mage, the low curve Highlander Mage that we saw in, was it Yonchiping that he brought it? The Masters Tour, I think so.
I think
was
it
pretty
might have been,
cool.
yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I like to see. But will it stand up against some of the best players in Americas? It's tough to say.
All right. Well, we'll see if he's able to correct that ship a little bit for next week. But for now, both players ending 1-1. Not too bad, not too amazing either. We'll see what happens in week number 2. In the meantime,